know, a few days ago, I picked up a piece of glass.
I can put it right here, which is,
I
I
guess
guess
you
you
know what it is. I got
I
out a
put
Band-Aid.
something
I
like
want
fathers.
you to know something. See you play for a cup? You don't really. You ever have occasions like a school meeting or something happen, or you have a play, you have a good player, or you know it's good to get down. Just have one. Well, I think you're all. I want you to think for a minute about what happens when we cut ourselves. When we do something like that, when we hurt ourselves, our body kind of knits itself back together and makes itself whole. Now, I suspect most of you probably say, well, I've never had any miraculous healing. If I ask these people out there, they'd say, well, God's never miraculously healed me. But He does it all the time. Because He made our bodies, and our bodies can heal themselves. He set something in motion thousands of years ago when He first made man and woman. And now it happens to us on a daily basis that we feel. And it's for God. Well, God can heal our bodies, but more than He can God heal our soul and our spirit. That's what's really important in life, is that God can heal us in any way other than physical. He can heal us spiritually. But sometimes that's really what we need, and that's what Jesus did for us when He died on the cross. He died so that we could be healed of all the sin and wrong that we do in our lives. So think about that. Think about what Jesus has done for you. And every time you have a scrape or something happens, put a Band-Aid on it. I want you to remember that Jesus is the reason. He's the reason that we have life. He's the reason that we have salvation. He's the reason for all things everywhere that we have in our lives. And He's the one that shows us what real healing is like. The Bible says, by His stripes we are healed. Can you remember that? By His stripes we are healed. And this is what happened when Jesus was crucified. He was beaten, and he had an incredible number of stripes on His body. But His blood and His stripes have healed us of all sin.
The whip that they used is called a razor.
That's right.
And I only knew that because I wrote it previous.
That's nice. That's nice. All right, let's have a closing prayer. Father, we thank You for Your Son Jesus, because we know that by His stripes we are healed from all of our sin, and that's the most important healing that You've ever given us. We praise Your name for that. In Jesus' name. Amen.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I'll kind of start off by saying it is wonderful to be back. Especially it's wonderful to be back in Tennessee. I've had enough of Alabama and Florida for a little while. I enjoyed it, but sitting in a car for 5 hours, you kind of get tired. So, especially when you're not moving in that car. So, like I said, it's wonderful to be back here. Heather and I are married now. A whole new life ahead of us. We're excited. We're very glad to be spending a lot of it with you all here today. And we really want, personally, we want to thank you all for the support that you have given us throughout all this, throughout our engagement and into our marriage, and all the love that you all have shown. We really do appreciate it. That being said, our scripture reading for today comes from the Gospel of Matthew, the 7th chapter, verses 24 through 27. And I'll give you all a moment to turn to there again. It's Matthew chapter 7, 24 through 27. go ahead and add 28 in there too. Alright, now everybody seems to have turned to it. Let us get rid of the word of the Lord. Therefore, everyone who hears these words of mine and puts them into practice is like a wise man who built his house on the rock. The rain came down, the streams rose, and the winds blew and beat against the house. Yet it did not fall, because it had its foundation on the rock. But everyone who hears these words of mine and does not put them into practice is like a foolish man who built his house on sand. The rain came down, the streams rose, and the winds blew and beat against the house, and it fell with a great crash. Let us pray. Most heavenly and gracious Father, as we go into this time, we just want to thank you again for letting us be here, for letting us listen to your words, Father, for the message that you have, for letting us praise you with all our hearts. God, like I said, as we go into this time, help us to focus solely on you, on your words, on your message. Help us to put any other distractions aside us and look only to you during these times. Father, we thank you so much for everything you have done. And it's in your Son's holy and precious name we pray. Amen. Amen. So before I begin, I do want to go ahead and wish every man in here a happy Father's Day. And I say every man in here because whether you know it or not, you may have served as a father figure to somebody. I know that I can say that many guys in here have already served as father figures to me, especially being away from my family. I need it. And so a lot of the wisdom that you all passed on to me, you all have been fathers to me. So I will say happy Father's Day to every man in here. You know, but it's funny because I haven't had the privilege of being a father yet, even though people are already starting to take bets. If you want to get in on this bet, let me know. I'm thinking Heather's mom is the bookie for this one. So I've heard a year, I've heard 4 years, I've heard 2 months. So we're going but yeah, so that's going on if y'all want to get in on that. But like I said, I haven't had the privilege of becoming a father yet, and by the grace of God, one day I will get that chance. But with that being said, me not being a father, I kind of found it, I felt like ill-prepared to preach a message on being a father and Father's Day in general. So I will be straight up with you, I'll be honest with you. This isn't a Father's Day message per se, but it is going to be a message that pertains to one, the family, one, the marriage, one, your life in general. This is meant for not just the fathers, it's meant for the mothers, it's meant for the daughters, it's meant for the sons. It's meant for everybody in this building. You see, today I want to talk about something that's very, very serious. I think it's one of those things you gotta take a step back in your own life and think about, and that's your foundation. Where is your foundation? Where's your foundation in your marriage? Where's your foundation in your family? Where's your foundation in your own life? So growing up as a kid, my mother would do everything that she possibly could to make sure that the family, and we're going to go ahead and start with the foundation of the family, that our family had time together, whether it was a game night, whether it was we went to the movies or something. The family spent time together. And it was always fun, and that was every now and then. But my mother had one specific time where it didn't matter where you are, it didn't matter what part of the house you were in, you're going to be at this certain spot at this certain time, or she's going to come after you. And that would be dinner time. We always had dinner around the table. And it never changed. My mother would kill me if I said, I'm going to watch TV tonight. She's like, no, you're not. No, you're not. You're sitting at the table with us and you're eating. And, I never understood that as a kid growing up. I'm like, well, why? I mean, I see y'all throughout the house. I live here. And I always fought with Mom about it. But living in a house, I just had a couple of housemates these past couple of years, or I would say about a year and a half. And I figured out that you can live in the same house as somebody and never see them. I mean, there were days where I saw my housemates maybe 2 hours. So I began to understand why my mom saw it as so important that we as a family sat down at the dinner table and spent time together. Now, I went ahead and I went a little further into it and researched a little further. And a lot of researchers have done these projects and these, I wouldn't say experiments, but these surveys and stuff about families who eat dinner at the dinner table together opposed to those who don't. And they say that for some apparent reason, those that eat dinner together are a lot stronger and a lot happier. I don't know where they get that data from, but I can see where it's come from. I mean, I believe that the communication is there. There were times, I mean, the dinner table conversation itself may not have been fun. There were a lot of times where I had to tell my mother I didn't do my homework. So I ended up me getting grounded at the dinner table, but it happened. But it was a time, it was a time for us to sit down and talk about what was going on in our lives. And a lot of these scientists, these researchers from all these different top-notch colleges and all these research facilities have said that for family, that communication is the foundation. Now, I don't have a degree in anything yet. I'm working on it. By the grace of God, I'll have a degree here in a year at least. But to me, I don't think that communication is the foundation. I think it's a very key important role. Don't get me wrong, I think every family should communicate. That it shouldn't be like my housemates, or we see each other once, maybe during the day. That we should talk to each other and see each other and have conversations with each other, but I don't think that's the foundation. No. You see, in the hard times, in the rough times, when the rain comes, communication can fail. And I don't want my foundation to fail. Let's look back again at the scripture. Therefore, everyone who hears these words of mine and puts them into practice is like a wise man who built his house on the rock. The rain came down, the streams rose, and the winds blew and beat against the house. Yet it did not fall, because it had its foundation on the rock. Now, this is much opposed to the man who built his house in the sand. It didn't hold up to the winds and the rain. It didn't hold up to the storm. So I'm not going to put my family's foundation on something that will fail. It won't hold up to the winds and the rain. No. What this tells me here, what this is telling us, what Jesus is saying here is that your foundation in your family is on the rock, on Jesus Christ, on the words that He sang. Because though conversation fails, though communication fails, I know for one, and I will praise this and proclaim this every day, that our God does not fail. That Christ does not fail. And He's not going to fail us. Now, moving on, we're going to move on to marriage. I'm actually going to bring up, and it's funny, a guy that's been married for 7 days or is preaching on marriage. But, I've been able to look at a lot of marriages and see, from example and learn by example, just what makes a marriage work. And my pastor gave a message during our wedding that included the verses from Ecclesiastes. And I'm going to read those to you now. If y'all want to turn to it, Ecclesiastes 4, 9 through 12. Two are better than one because they have good return for their work. If one falls down, his friend can help him up. But pity the man who falls and has no one to help him up. Also, if two lie down together, they will keep warm. But how can one keep warm alone? Though one may be overpowered, two can defend themselves. A cord of 3 strands is not easily broken, not quickly broken. Now, when our pastor was talking to us, and he was looking, he was looking me right in the eyes, and he told me, Tyler, when you look at this rope and you think about a cord of 3 or 1 strand is going to break easily, a cord of 2 strands is going to break a little bit. It's going to take a little bit more, but it will break. But a cord of 3 strands is not easily broken. I never thought about it this way, and he kind of enlightened me to it, and I want to share that with you today. Is especially in marriage. When you think of the cord of 3 strands, on one cord you have the husband, one cord you have the wife, and the middle cord you have God. Now that, for me, I never thought about it that way. That was always, and growing up I was like, oh, 3 people instead of just 2 or 1. 3 people, that makes it good. That makes it good. But no, it's the husband, the wife, and God. And for me, that was very eye-opening, very, very touching to me, especially in marriage, where so many today, they don't put their foundation in God, and it hurts. And I wish we would get back to it. I wish we would get back to putting God as the foundation, God in the middle. God is that 3rd strand. But that's what it takes. That's your foundation in your marriage. Is God is the 3rd strand. God is the middle. God is the glue. God is the, whatever you want to call it. But make sure God's in it. Make sure God is the foundation. God is the rock that which you place your marriage on. Last but not least, I want to get to our own daily lives, our own lives in general, your own personal life, in which it's just yourself, your inner self. And for that, I want to turn in the scripture to the book of Mark, the 8th chapter, 34 through 36.
Can you repeat that, please?
Mark 8, 34 through 36.
Thank you.
And I have preached this verse before, on these verses before, but they make a very good point in what I'm about to say. Then he called the crowd to him along with his disciples and said, if anyone come after me, he must deny himself, take up his cross, and follow me. For whoever wants to save his life will lose it. But whoever loses his life for me and for the gospel will save it. What good is it for a man to gain the whole world, yet forfeit his soul? Or what can a man give in exchange for his soul? If anyone is ashamed of me and my words in this adulterous and sinful generation, the Son of Man will be ashamed of him when he comes into his Father's glory with the holy angels. Now, what I'm saying here, what I'm trying to look at here, is there are other translations that say that one man built a house, the other built a castle. One built the castle on the sand, the other built the house. I don't know how many of you all know Casting Crowns. It's a Christian band. I'm really good. I've listened to them since I was in elementary school. And they have a song called American Dream, where this man works and works and works all day, trying to get his American dream. And the point of it is, they take the story of the 2 builders, the wise one and the foolish one. And he says, he went and he built this castle. He had everything he could ever want. And he built it in the sand. Just like in here, it says, what would it gain a man, or what would it profit a man to gain the whole world and lose his soul? You can have everything you ever want. You can try, you can work as hard as you can, but when the rain comes, if your foundation is not in God, if you're not living a life that God wants you to live, then that castle's going to fall. And it's going to fall hard. You know, for me, there's a lyric in there that says, "I'll take a shack on a rock over a castle in the sand any day." And that speaks a ton. I'd take a shack on a rock over a castle in the sand. I'd much rather live a life according to what Christ tells me to live. Live a life according to God's will. And have a simple life. Not have everything extravagant, you know. But have God. And have Him as my foundation. Then live in a way in which I fulfill every one of my desires. And I go through life. And I work hard for all these earthly things. For all these things that, in the end, it doesn't really matter. You know, I can have a castle, I can have it, and all these awesome and these wonderful things, but in the end, it doesn't matter. No, I would rather have my life founded around God and God's will. Because living a life founded in God means that you're always going to have a firm footing. And now you may be blown around by the winds. And it's not going to be easy. It's not going to be, you know, all happy, warm, fuzzy feelings all the time. I mean, life's life. Life's going to hit you hard sometimes. But you're always going to have God as your foundation. You're going to be you're going to be able to stand up to it. Just like the man who built his house on the rock, his house stayed. So I mean, it's going to be. You're going to be there and you're going to stay. It's going to be rough, but you're going to make it. And I like to, you know, I would want to place my foundation. I want to put my foundation in my family, my marriage, and my life in God. Because God is the one that made the universe. God is the one that made us. God is the one that took those stripes. Christ is the one whose hands were pierced and held on that cross for hours for us. I couldn't think of anybody else to put my faith in, my foundation, for my life, for my marriage, and for my family in. So as we go into this world, as we go out into these days, this week, into the next week, think about it. You know, look deep inside yourself. Look at your life. Look at your marriage. Look at your family. See, where are you? Where is your foundation? Where do you place? Where is your family placed? Is it on God or is it on something else? I know that even in preaching this and writing this and working on it, God's had me looking over my own life. God's had me looking over everything. This sermon's hit me a lot harder. It's hit me really hard, especially now being married. I got to make sure that I'm playing my marriage right on God. Put Him right in the middle to hold it together. And you know, if you're here today, and maybe you placed your foundation somewhere else. Maybe you're not on, you're not on the rock. You know, you can still be there. You can still get it. See, because there's one thing I know about my God. It's one, that He never failed. Two, His love never failed. and He never gives up. I would ask that you come and just let it all go. Whatever's going on, whatever rain is coming your way, whatever storms are blowing you around, give it to God and stand on the rock. Let us pray. Most Heavenly Gracious Father, I just want to thank you so much, again, for what you're doing in our lives, for supporting us and helping us where we need it, Father, for being there faithfully as we go throughout our lives. And even though we may, at times, tend to walk away, tend to kind of wander off the path, there you are, still faithfully waiting. And Father, we thank you for being our rock, our foundation, for holding us steady through the rain and the storms. Father, we couldn't do it without you. As we go into this world, Father, help us to continue to lean on you, continue to have you as our foundation, and not move at all. Help us to teach others. Help us to show them your love, your compassion. Father, most of all, we thank you for your Son, Jesus Christ, and his death and resurrection. We love you and we praise you. In your Son's holy and precious name we pray. Amen.
293.
His face to shine upon you now and forevermore. And all God's people said,
Amen.